What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? I know everyone is having a legendary week. So we got Jason in the green room waiting to get up in here. We might have a special guest later on to talk about the Denver invasion that the Niner Empire's got going on. And of course, we're going to go ahead and break down roster cuts, some Jason Verrett news, and of course, get into some Niners Vikings. But before we do all that, of course, we got to remind y'all to listen to the end of the show to get your special coupon code to save 10% off of For the Faithful by the Faithful Apparel. Exclusively available at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the podcast or video and save. Go to SeatGiant.com, use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. And go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, and follow us on on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
All right. Okay. Oh, man. Now it's just being retarded. Oh, God. Okay, so let's bring Jason on so I can get this crap fixed. What's cracking, Jason? How you doing, bro?
What is up, my man? How's it going this week?
You know, I'm always a legendary. You know what they say, bro? Any day you wake up a five-time champion is a legendary day. But
True that. What's up? We got Benjamin from the New Jersey Niner in the chat.
Oh, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Welcome,
yeah.
my man.
What's cracking, brother? How you doing? How you doing? You know, I hope to get out to Niners Jets or Niners Giants game eventually. That'd be actually really cool.
But not in the wintertime. It's way too damn cold.
Oh yeah. I would have to hopefully be preseason. He said, Jason, what's up? I'm good. We in the building. Of course, the Empire is always in the building. Y'all have to excuse me for a second.
I don't know what TJ is doing right now. He's reaching for something.
I had to get the.
Oh, he's getting a hat. All right.
Yeah, my bad, y'all. Me and Jason were chopping it up, and we got going on different stuff. But we got some actually exciting things that we're discussing what doing with NFR as we get the season started.
Indeed.
But it's gonna be some dope things. But anyway, so do you think Danny Gray is gonna make the team? I hope that's a joke, bro.
That's a hard one, man.
So
it's a hard one.
yeah, that's a real hard one. You know, honestly, we've been saying it. And Jawan Jennings, did he have a catch in this game? Oh, well, before we get started to that, we're of course going to break down Danny Gray. I want to get into our housekeeping. Okay, hold on. So we got some Jason Verrett news, like I promised in the breakdown. Jason Verrett went on to the reserve physically unable to perform list, so he'll be out 4 games. Not a surprise. I think that's the smart thing to do with him. I think that's the smart, because week 1 would be, I mean, I can't remember the exact date, but week 1 would be around a year. So that gives them about a year to recover, and then, you know, about a month to get back into real football shape and everything like that, and then see what's up.
Yeah.
You know, I believe it's still 6 weeks that you have to activate him. So he would have to be ready by week 10.
Which that should give him plenty of time to get back into football shape, per se. If he's not pretty close right now, you know, so we'll see.
And because I haven't heard anything about a setback or or anything like that. Or unfortunately, we by week 10 we know that we don't get Jason Verrett, and I mean, hopefully we don't need him.
Yeah, I would love to see, because we get Verrett back, say week, I don't think we need him to play week 1 right now. They're looking pretty good between Mosley and Ward, but then that begs that question: who's the odd man out, or do we just slide him into like a nickel? I mean, but you think of those 3 starting at the same time in some shape or form, man, you got some talent out there for your DBs right there.
Or I mean, even if you're playing a team with 4 wide, I mean, it gives D'Amico Ryan so much wiggle room, because essentially, if we need Verrett to play week 1, I don't think so. I think as we get deeper into the season, I think that's what's gonna be neat. Because if one thing we know about E-Man, he does have injuries. Now, of course, maybe this is his one injury for the year, and we're good and everything like that. But that's what they say. You're gonna need corners, and it's anyway. So Jason Verrett, I mean, that's not a big surprise. I honestly think that's the smart move that the team should do. We got Roberto in here. Bang bang, Niner gang, baby. What's cracking, bruh? So
yeah, it's pretty much expected.
Kalia Davis was placed on the reserve non-football injury list. That's not a surprise. Tanner Hudson was cut. Jeremiah Gambrell was cut, and then Sam Slater was waived injured. None of those are surprises. Hasn't shook up my we got another bang bang Niner gang. That doesn't shake up my 53-man roster. I mean, none of those surprise me.
Nothing earth-shattering or anything. I mean, it's kind of pretty much expected for the most part. It's just
So
I think the surprise will come when maybe a surprise or two when we get down to 30, or excuse me, to the 53. But we still got a couple weeks before that. So
okay, just real quick, this will be my one rant of the show. I do not understand how Nick Bosa is ranked number 25 in the NFL top 100 list. Like that the disrespect of Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I saw that shit too, man.
Woo! Like I will put Trent Williams above him. Okay, I have no problem. I'll lose my shit if Trent isn't at least in the top 10. He said he doesn't.
He's gonna be top 5. He's easily gonna be top 5.
I was gonna say, I believe top 5. Like Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes,
Brady.
No, I'm not putting Brady above Trent Williams. Not right now.
Why? Brady's still you're doing it on reputation. I mean,
you're putting it on reputation.
Not
okay. Fine.
Brady produces. Tell me he doesn't.
Okay. So okay, fine. Even Brady. Okay, cool. Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Those are about the only 4 players off just my top of my head that I say.
Taylor or Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the argument's there, but honestly, for me, even taking away my homerisms, I'm still looking at him as top 5.
Yeah, he's that. I just named 4. The only 4 players I would say without a doubt, and one of them is debatable, that I would agree. Okay, these players are better than Trent Williams. You got Aaron Donald, Super Bowl MVP, AD number 1. I'm sure. Oh, of course. Like, look, taking off my NFR hat, right? Aaron Donald is the best player in the NFL. When he wants to be,
I don't disagree.
I mean, would he want? You're gonna say Patrick. People are gonna say Patrick Mahomes because he's quarterback, and so fine, quarterback's the most valuable position and everything like that. And yeah, I would assume Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be the best quarterback in the league this year. Maybe either him or Aaron Rodgers. Just if you're asking me to bet my life savings, which isn't much, but
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I really like Josh Allen.
There's another one you can put at number 1.
That's true. Okay, so then Josh Allen, fine. Then Trent's number 6, but he's in top 10. 5. Yeah, well, I see. I like Josh Allen, and the reason I like the reason I was excited, and finally, even though I was Team Justin Fields, I got excited by Trey Lance is because I was like, you know what? I bet you Kyle is betting that he's going to have around the same trajectory. And
Development.
Kyle came out and said that he wished he would have got Josh Allen. Whatever about Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun
Every other
Watson.
31 teams wishes they had gotten Josh Allen.
Yeah,
he's turned out.
Exactly. So I mean, and that's how it is. So, let me see. We signed to Sean Gibson Sr. and waived Austin Mack. Not a surprise. I literally think Dave Lombardi had said he thinks this is basically trying to build the bridge until Jimmy Rogers is
cannon
overrated.
Fodder for the most. Yeah, he's definitely cannon fodder.
He's basically trying to make sure everybody doesn't get overworked until Jimmy Ward comes back. See, I think if the MVP was based off of playoff experience, I agree with you that Aaron Rodgers is overrated, because I believe that Aaron Rodgers has the type of regular season that you would assume he would have more than one championship, which is fine. Shows you how hard it is to win a championship, and find you played a lot of your career alongside Tom Brady. I get it, but not even making Super Bowls. That's my whole thing about it is, bro, you didn't even. It's not like he won one and made it to 3 or 4, and just you went up against Tom Brady.
Hey, you're not even getting there.
You're
Think about
not
how good
even
the
getting
Packers
there.
have been with quarterback position the last 20 years, and they have 2 Super Bowls, and that's it. From Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, you only got 2 Super Bowls in 27 years.
Two Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's like
now that goes to show you, how truly hard it is to win a championship and win multiple championships. That's what I take away from that. But yeah, I think that when it's all said and done, I think that the feeling about Aaron Rodgers that I'm personally going to have is obviously, the Niners should have took him number 1 overall, which I have a whole argument about the butterfly effect of that and how it could have easily gone sour for Aaron Rodgers. But, just as far as where the Niner organization was then, and I think a lot of people forget that, and how much dysfunction and all those things were going on then. But I think most people will step back and look, should have had more championships. Great quarterback, Hall of Fame first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. And I will die on my hill if you think of the last 3 quarterbacks that were Niner fans and came out and were established that were Niner fans. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen are all quarterbacks that the Niners passed on, and we all, I'm pretty sure, regret. Now, we'll see about Josh Allen just because we don't know what Trey Lance is yet, but definitely regret passing on Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers was worse because he played at Cal.
Right down the street.
Right down the street. So anyway, so that gets Emmanuel Mosley, Eric Armstead back at practice, along with Dante Johnson, Jalen Moore, Charlie Warner. Ambry Thomas is doing individual drills. So it looks like we're getting back healthy. The prognosis, according to Shanahan, is that Mike McGlinchey will be back. So Mike McGlinchey is a little, they said, hopeful. Elijah Mitchell is going to be back for week 1. So basically, Jimmy Ward and maybe Mike McGlinchey seem to be the only ones that are questionable for week 1. That's awesome.
I think it'd be more important to have McGlinchey up than Ward currently.
It
did not look good on that side.
No, it does not. And so getting into the game, that's my number 1 takeaway. I told my girl, I was like, look, we won, and I'm never going to get out here and bitch and scream and yell and be mad about a win. But I don't think we, at least before players that are going to be UPS truck drivers or club security guards got in, we didn't play that well. The offensive line, it was still, I believe there are individual players that played well that we'll get into. But my number 1 takeaway from that game is glad we won. Danny Gray looks great, all the great things, but I pray to God we don't get injuries along the offensive line. Daniel Brunskill comes back soon, and we get we don't have any major injuries on the offensive line because the second team offensive line is a bit of a concern.
It's a concern, and I think it's more of a concern on the outside than the inside. The inside between the guards and center seems to be a little bit more solidified and decent for as far as holding up, but the outside is just terrible right now. People are just getting by him left and right. But like I said, and the inside at times didn't look great, but like I said, they looked a hell of a lot better than the outside.
Yeah, it's to get back to your point. I agree with you, and that's why I agree with you. Mike McGlinchey needs to come back ASAP because
But
at
at the
least
same
then
time, we can't rush him.
Well, yeah, no, you can't rush him, and I think that we should be able to get by it. We should be able to get by the Bears just by we're a more talented football team. Sure, it might be closer than we all anticipate and everything like that. If Mike McGlinchey's out, if et cetera, but I just expect Debo's going to make plays, George Kittle's going to make plays, Elijah Mitchell's going to make plays. The plays are going to be made by our playmakers more than their playmakers. So ultimately, I think we'll get by. Week 2, I would love it just because we all know with the Seahawks and divisional games and everything like that. But as we get into week 3 and definitely week 4, that's when I'm going to start thinking that we need to be
back to full.
We need to be back at full, or at least if we're not back at full, then address then we need to bring some people outside the building or something, because if it's not,
it wouldn't even be that bad if we can get run skill back.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, because most people forget he played tackle for us in 2019 and played well. And I remember because it was week 1, because Joe Staley broke his leg week 2. And then I forget what game it was Mike McGlinchey got hurt. But I remember it was, or did McGlinchey come back? I remember I remember Daniel Brunskill starting in against Green Bay when we started that 3-game stretch. And I remember that was a big concern that the Smith brothers were going to eat that game. And played fine. He played fine. And so I think that getting Daniel Brunskill back and then hopefully not having any more injuries is going to be fine. But I think that defensively, we're going to have to get the bye defensively, because it's going to take time for this offense to gel.
Oh, yeah. Defense
okay,
so the first half of the season.
I mean, I think it's Jimmy Ward's been going around saying like he thinks it's going to be Pick City. That's what he's been saying, telling people is.
There's been what, 17 so far this preseason, something like that.
Yeah,
there's been a ton. They've had more already than they did all of last season combined. So it's just like, okay, I mean.
So I mean, that's ultimately why I get fired up by Lynchaham, because sure, you could make an argument about the players that they do it with, but we address needs. And it was clear after last year we needed to address the secondary. Pick City, stand up. Love it. That might be a T-shirt. But let me switch back to my profile. If you go on YouTube right now, Baldy Breakdown has an excellent breakdown of TDP in this game, and Javon Kinlaw and Drake Jackson and Charles Omenihu. My other number one takeaway from this game is Javon Kinlaw looks like a man on a mission.
He does, and I've supported Javon Kinlaw since everything, especially with the whole Grant Cohn thing, and there's that whole issue. But right now, he's not playing against ones. Yeah. But at the same time, he's doing exactly what you want him to do. Mm-hmm. He is. I forget who he was walking with after the game, where they were side by side when they had their shirts off.
That was practice.
Was it practice? Okay.
Yeah,
He
it was
made
practice.
another large man look small. You know what I mean? Like he could be thrown into WWE right now and he would be fitted perfectly with the way he looks right now. He is just, but yeah, I'm glad, I'm happy, but that's what I expect him to do against second stringers. Now he just needs to keep it up doing against the first.
Exactly. And I'm fired up because there's been times Javon Kinlaw hasn't done that.
True.
So that's improvement. And so you're seeing improvement. And all you could ask him to do is, like you said, Jason, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, those are twos out there. Javon Kinlaw should be whooping ass, and he is. So that's why there was this particularly a play. I want to say it was the second pick. No. Sorry, it wasn't the second pick. Maybe it was. There was a particular play that he did where you just see Javon Kinlaw and Drake Jackson lined up next to each other, and they both just obliterate the guard and the tackle, and it's so beautiful. It's
And it's different styles too.
yeah, different
Jackson started doing
styles,
speed more often, and Kinlaw is just a beast.
and I think that to me, the number one goal against with Kinlaw in this preseason wasn't even necessarily how he looked. I mean, that's obviously ultimately what matters, was how he feels. And that's what has to be most excited, is that he's not having pain. You know, he's not missing practice. He's been ramped up.
I think I heard that he's so far he's like this is the first time he's enjoyed playing football in a few years.
Yeah,
That's
and it's just
great to hear.
and Haberman and Middlecoff had a great point on their live, one of their live feeds, where they said, look, you know, he didn't have a lot of games. It was basically turn on the Georgia and turn on the Clemson game and watch him dominate. But they said he'll do stuff every game that reminds you, when healthy and at the level that we need him to be at. He'll do stuff every game that reminds you, oh yeah, shit, this dude was the number 15th overall pick or 14th. You know, and sometimes you forget, like, he was number 14th overall pick. You know, and I don't need him to be a superstar. I don't. I just need him to, if he gives me a splash play a game, but is consistently just causing problems or taking double teams away from Armstead, Drake Jackson, Bosa, whoever the end is, and he's just doing that consistently, that's all I need from Javon Kinlaw. That's all.
That's all we need
keep
from
him
any
on
of
the
those
Niners.
linemen.
Yeah, to keep him on the Niners for years to come. That's all I need from you. I don't need 10 sacks. I don't need any of that. I just need to make sure that if you told me that the Niners core of their D line was Javon Kinlaw, Drake Jackson, and Nick Bosa, and insert player whatever, you know, a rotation of depth, I think that's a D line that can win us some championships.
I want to see what, like, with Justin Smith. Justin Smith just ate up room in the middle. That's what I want to see out of Kinlaw. You know, yeah, you'll make your flashy plays here and there, but I just want to see you take up space so that the other guys can fly around and make those plays.
Drake Jackson is a beast. I think I'm going to say this. I think the season's going to probably start off with either Kerry Hyder or Samson Ebukam starting at end. But I will say this. Drake Jackson will play more snaps. Now, that will obviously be game determined. If we're down, they're obviously running the ball. If we're up, they're going to be passing. So it is determined a little bit by that. And by the end of the year, Drake Jackson is going to be a starter. I
have a hard time keeping him off the field.
I think that we are. I think
the more we watch him, the more of a steal he was in the second round. Like, the more, it's like USC dropped him 40 draft picks easily with how bad they used him in general.
Yeah, that was a USC problem. And what makes me excited about this is, you heard some, I don't want to say character issues, because it wasn't like he was out there beating women or getting arrested for DUIs or anything like that. Just a little immature, you know, which is fine. That could happen when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. But everything that we expected and let's be real, that I think John Lynch might have expected with Reuben Foster, is where you say, hey, we get him behind a great coach in Chris Kasarik, and he's gonna get in a room with the D line that doesn't bullshit. You know, you're not gonna be sitting next to Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead and be
and
bullshit.
acting up.
Yeah, you're just, and Javon Kinlaw. You know, it's just that there's not. And from everything you heard from his first press conference, he lightweight fanboyed out in his first press conferences. I was like, basically was like, I'm gonna be on Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, whoever's nuts. Like, that's basically, he kind of fanboyed out, and that's what you want to hear.
You just
And
got drafted. You're hype. I get it.
Of course, dude. I wouldn't. I mean, like, I think that sometimes you forget this with football players because they're players and whatever like that, but they're football fans too. You know, they got favorite players, favorite teams. I remember one of my group home staff that played for San Jose State, and I thought might have a chance to maybe be undrafted or a late round draft pick, but hurt his knee. His teammate actually got drafted by the Raiders though. But anyway, but he hurt his knee. His favorite player was Warren Sapp, and so he's just like, hey, I'm a fan of whatever team Warren Sapp's on. So these players have favorite players, favorite whatever.
Yeah.
You know, would it surprise me if Drake Jackson takes a lot of game from Joey Bosa being out there in SoCal, both in LA, you know, and everything like that. So it's
not a
very
bad player to take game from.
No. And I think his game is probably more like Joey's than Nick's.
Yeah, Nick is a little bit stronger per se.
But so I think that fired up because what you expected of this to be like, okay, cool. The talent's clearly there, underachieved. So you get him around some great coaching, a solid locker room with players that are going to teach him how to be a pro, and his talent is going to show. And that's what we've seen so far. So good with Drake Jackson. I almost want to cry just because of how excited I am with the future of this football team, especially considering that it feels more sustainable than with the Harbaugh era.
Yeah,
it just feels more.
Seems more stoked than it was. Like it was too hot during Harbaugh. And
well, yeah, because
out of control.
Well, I think it's that. You know, it was no secret. TMZ caught Niners coming out of the strip club. I think it was like at 3 a.m, the week of the Super Bowl and everything like that. And I mean, it feels more sustainable because we're not waking up in the morning wondering what Niner is going to get arrested next. Like, I mean, we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about Nick Bosa either killing himself in a drunk car accident or killing somebody else, like Alden Smith. You know, we don't have to worry about Juice beating up an old dude like Bruce Miller. I mean, you know, so this is why it feels more sustainable. Vernon wasn't a bad character person, so I don't feel the same. I feel that.
You say Vernon?
Vernon. I never heard really once you had the Mike Singletary. You know,
he was weird, I think, but I wouldn't say he was bad. You know, once he got a little off.
I think what it is I hate to say this, and especially considering what I'm talking about, but I think that that hit again with Cam Chancellor basically ended Vernon Davis's football career.
Yeah,
not literally.
It probably gave him some early issues. I mean,
but not even early issues. I think it's just you know. Yeah, I mean, mysteriously, Vernon Davis was more interested in painting after that, and just, you know, I believe a little bit of the want to, you know, because I mean, Vernon said that. I remember he did an interview when he said that shit hurt.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest hits in NFL history.
Yeah, like that was like, and I remember he said Cam Chancellor was like, "Get up," and then you hurt, boy, and you know, talking shit, and I was like, yeah, like. I want to be very clear about this. I'm not calling Vernon Davis soft or anything like that. I think that's the type of hit that would make most people quit football. Like I think
You get hit that
I
hard,
think
you have
most people in
PTSD.
America, I think most people in America don't get off the field.
Not without
Like
help.
I think they pulled out. What was that player from Miami? I believe it was that quit at halftime.
Talking about Antonio Brown for the
No, it
Bucks.
was wasn't it Vernon Davis's
Oh, okay. I know
brother?
who you're talking. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It was Vernon
Oh,
Davis's brother, wasn't it?
no, I don't think it was. But I know who you're talking about. He just
Yeah,
kind of
but
up
anyway,
and left on.
he just quit at halftime. So I think after a Cam Chancellor hit like that, that basically that most people in America would
Well,
essentially pull that.
look
They
what
would quit.
Vontae Burfict did to Antonio Brown.
Look what
This is
Talanoa
not the same
Hufanga.
Antonio Brown, huh?
Yeah, no. Look what Talanoa Hufanga did to that Packers.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like hits like that. Like I said, this is not what Antonio Brown was before that hit. Vontae Burfict fucked his life up. It changed his actual attitude. So I mean, maybe Vernon had the same thing. I wouldn't blame him for as hard as he got hit.
I remember in 2018, Ian Williams was coming out to Empire Row a lot. And the game that essentially you could say probably sealed him coming on NFR was the Shikos game in 2018. The game, the Richie James return. First time we beat him and everything. And I was talking to him and I was faded. We were both faded. And I was walking up to him and I was like, I bet you would give anything right now to go out there on that field. I was like, fuck that nigga. I was like, he's a piece of shit for what he did. I was like, because I was like, I believed in Ian Williams. I was like, you know what?
Oh, yeah, I was
maybe losing. I was like, maybe losing Justin Smith doesn't hurt so bad if your leg doesn't, I was fired up. And he was like, yeah, and everything. And he said, I still, now this is in 2018, but he still has to take physical therapy for that.
Yeah, I believe it.
And so I think that people just don't think, because, football players, they kind of retire and they go off into the, sunset, and you don't really ever, or you never see the behind the scenes of it. But like, I mean, Joe Montana's, man, he still has to have elbow surgery and back surgeries, and it's yeah, definitely. Anyway, off of our tangent. So TDP, let me ask you this. Trey Sermon gets cut. Does he make it to the practice squad?
I don't think he gets cut. But if he does, no. I think he had a good enough career in college to where someone else is going to take a chance.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So it's like, yeah, maybe, because there's always guys that, they go to a different team and all of a sudden the scheme fits them. They feel better for whatever reason. Maybe the air in the Bay just doesn't, sit well. Something is off, but he goes somewhere else, and all of a sudden it all clicks for him. So, but I don't think he gets cut. I think this is his last season if he doesn't start producing. But maybe later in the season, if it's just not happening at all, maybe he gets cut. But I still think he makes the 53 right now.
I'm because I remember my first practice I went to, I was excited because he looks good and everything like that. And I remember walking away from that practice and it was like, anytime, now it was hard for us to see. I was like, but anytime it seemed like there was a decent run, it seemed like number 28 was the one doing it and everything. But the thing that makes me most concerned about Trey Sermon is there was just one run. I remember, I want to say it was on third down. Not the one that TDP had on fourth down, but I want to say it was on third down or whatever. I mean, we were abysmal 0 for 7 until that one pass at Brock Purdy, which we'll get into him in next. But he was just hesitant. And you knew it's like, Brett, it's right there. Like, go. It's there. And that's the thing that's making me most concerned is that was the issue with them last year. And so if it's the same issue again this year, now I'm with you because Kyle will take away. He got banged up in practice, and Kyle will take away what he looked like in practice higher than the preseason.
Especially running behind number twos.
Yeah, but running behind number twos and everything. That's why I think I'm really curious to see how the rotation is this week. I would like every running back to get some run. I'm not so much. I'm not so
Except
worried
Elijah.
about the. Yeah, well, yeah, Elijah's out to week 1. They said they probably won't get him. They're gonna hold him out. There's no reason. But I want Mason. I want Hasty. I want who looked real nice. I was down on Jermichael Hasty. I was. I
Yeah,
was.
I think
I
I
thought
think
Jermichael.
a lot of people are, but he's been looking good, especially in pass protection.
Yeah, he was a bull in pass protection. That's one
He
thing that
might
stood
make the
out to
team
me live.
simply because of his pass, because he's better at pass protection than anybody else right now. So I mean,
TDP was nice. I like TDP, and that's
yeah,
one of the
but I
reasons
still
he
think
was
Hasty
drafted.
was better at it.
Yeah, no, and what excites me that about Hasty is that was a concern. That was a weaknesses of his, and you could clearly see he got better at it, which means he worked hard at it, and that's what's got me excited about Hasty. I'm not worried about the running back room. The running backs room is going to be what the running
No,
back
we're
room
fine there.
is.
The only issue is what are we keeping?
That's what I am. I mean, Elijah Mitchell TDP. So I honestly think it's between Elijah Mitchell or Jeff Wilson Jr., Trey Sermon, and Jermichael Hasty and Mason between those last two spots.
I'd keep Wilson first out of those,
Yeah.
and
I'm keeping
I
Jeff
still
Wilson.
think you keep Sermon. I really do.
So you're letting go of Hasty and Mason.
Yeah, as much as that hurts me, I think there's something about that the draft capital they spent on him. I think, especially because we know Kyle's arrogant when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He will beat it that he's going to make somebody as good as he wants them to be. So I can, but like I said, I like Mason though. I really do.
I like Mason for his physicality, and
Oh yeah,
I like Jermichael. So maybe we could sneak Mason onto the practice squad.
that's what I'm hoping.
I think we might. I think we might lose Hasty if we expose Jeff Wilson Jr. He's gone.
He's gone, easily gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He has enough NFL film out there, and I think that's one of the reasons you haven't been seeing him get a lot of run. I think he's pretty secure.
I still
on
think
the
he's
team.
number 2 right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I would say too. Okay, Sammy Womack. I mean, let me see. We should
he's
keep
earned that
Purdy.
spot.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I did say we were gonna get into the quarterbacks next. I think it's pretty clear Nate Sudfeld is gonna be number 2. And looks fine for now. Looks fine. I didn't see. I mean, for a backup quarterback, he looks
sharp.
fine.
He's got some nice passes over the middle.
Yeah, there's that one throw. It's in the highlights that the Niners gave out on their YouTube. There's that one throw that there was that one throw against the sideline. I was like, fuck, that was a nice throw. Because I might have missed it live because I was at work or whatever, listening on the radio or whatever. But I was like, damn, that's a real nice throw. So Nate Sudfeld looked fine. But the main question to me coming out of that game and Friday's game, against the Packers, and then Saturday's game, do we keep 3 quarterbacks?
If you remember when we were doing the draft, I think the Tuesday after we went and we started talking about Brock Purdy. And again, living where I live up here in the Seattle area, for some reason we get a lot of Midwest games. And I told you, look, man, Brock Purdy is a first-round draft pick if he was 2 inches taller.
Yeah,
he's
6'4".
short. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 2 inches taller. He's easily in the first round. But he's a 4-year start. He's got control. The moment is not going to be too big for him. He knows how to handle himself. The pressure's not going to get to him. He just looks like he could go out there in a primetime game and he's okay. He's like, okay, I got this, no problem. And remember, you can go back, and I was like, look, this kid is good.
He's got a lot of Nick Mullen vibes.
He's
in
like
the
a
sense
combination
of his preparedness.
Yeah, he's Nick Mullen if Nick Mullen was accurate. Because times Nick Mullen was terrible.
And so ultimately, if you say who's better to keep for the future of the Niners, I would say Brock Purdy. That's what I would say.
I don't think he makes it if he gets cut. Gary,
I
put more money on Brock Purdy being picked up faster than Trey Sermon on waivers. They both get cut.
because I think what's going to happen is there's people that were going to have him draftable, or would have been interested in bringing him in as an undrafted free agent.
Oh yeah.
That now that he's got some NFL tape, and you can see how he functions in an NFL system and all that are going to say, hey, you know what, we can keep him on our 53.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's some quarterbacks that are going to be number 2, number 3 on rosters this year that I think that Brock Purdy's better than, or at least
plenty.
a year, 2, 3 years from now.
Yeah.
That's saying, hey, I'd rather start Brock Purdy than this other third string quarterback, just simply because at least we're giving a kid with the future some experience versus, some Colt McCoy's a backup, but, some random Joe Schmo that's 30,
would you take
him
over, like, say, Joe Flacco at like 90 years old? Kind of, that's the kind of, that kind of a situation.
I mean,
I wouldn't. I'm just throwing the name out
for
there.
this year, no. But if you said that we had to sign Joe Flacco to a 2-year, 3-year deal, I'm saying I'll keep Brock Purdy. Oh, yeah. I think ultimately, I think what you're seeing in Brock Purdy is, and this was sealed already, but there's no way in hell that we keep Jimmy Garoppolo.
No. That's just
that wasn't going to happen.
Shanahan's talking out of his ass.
Jed York. Oh, I would be okay with because people really twisted his words, because what he was saying is, I'm not going to get into roster politics or whatever, but I trust Kyle and John, and so whatever they feel they need to do that's best for the team, will do. So
people took it as like that was him throwing support to Jimmy. Like, no, it wasn't.
Well, no. What it was saying is, hey, if Kyle says in a scenario, hey, knock on wood, pray to God, Trey gets hurt, and Kyle comes to him and says, hey, look, yes, keeping Jimmy Garoppolo is at that point is better than trotting out Nate Sudfeld for 9 games. Or a year or whatever. 2-3 weeks? No, okay, you're sticking to Nate Sudfeld. But so I think that's what that was. That wasn't a hey, we're keeping. Yeah. And what is he supposed to say? I mean, they're trying to hold on to whatever trade value they could possibly have. Jimmy's not getting traded. I think that's the way of the dodo when the Deshaun Watson hammer came down.
They overplayed their hand, and now they're being too ignorant to let it go. Because honestly, we'd be doing Jimmy a solid just by letting him go. Be doing, I think, the team in general just by getting that drama off the team. And like I said, they're just being arrogant in the fact that they got caught. They overplayed their hand with Jimmy, and now they don't know how to. Because if they back out, they're gonna look like losers on that hand, and they don't want to admit that.
Ultimately, Matt Mayoko brought up this point, and I think they're scared as shit that Jimmy's going to Seattle. And their biggest fear is for Jimmy to trot into Levi's week 2 and beat him.
Oh, yeah, because then you got some serious shit on your face.
Yeah, there's some serious problems. And especially if Jimmy looks good and Trey looks like garbage.
Yeah. But
and that is the biggest fear.
If you break it down, like look at their offensive line compared to what we got. If Jimmy couldn't stay healthy behind a top 5 line from last year, what is he going to do when Seattle has a trash offensive line?
That's fine, but we're not talking over the course of 17 weeks, bro. We're just talking about one game.
True.
Jimmy can stay healthy for one game. And I promise you're going to have to drag Jimmy Garoppolo off that field. If he's the quarterback for the Seahawks week 2, you're going to have to drag Jimmy Garoppolo off that field.
Oh, yeah. And he's probably going to have the game of his life, or at least attempt to. But you think when you look at long term, he doesn't fit Seattle.
he
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, what have they feasted on over the years? Long, deep passes from fucking Wilson, who is not there anymore. Jimmy can't, and what can't Jimmy do? Jimmy can't throw long. So, I mean, the only way he goes to Seattle is if they want someone there as a leader. But at the same time, okay, Jimmy's going to get you to 7-8 wins, which takes you out of getting those top draft picks. So I really
was just
don't
going to
think
say that.
Yeah, I don't think long term in Seattle he's the answer. As much as I think he might fit there and everything, just it wouldn't make
For a
sense
year.
if you're going after those top. No, not even for a year, because then that takes you out of the next year's draft.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I was just going to bring up that point where Jimmy's going to win you a couple games and take you out of probably getting that decent quarterback that you're going to look. Clearly they're looking for a strong arm, accurate deep ball quarterback because that's what your offense is built around with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and they're obviously not getting rid of DK with the contract that he just signed.
Nope.
So exactly. So I think that's what it is. But yeah, ultimately, I think we got to. I think we might have to keep 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, because Purdy's definitely not going to come back in the practice squad. He'll be gone.
No. And so I'll have to relook what that means for the 53 and reanalyze.
You're not giving up 12 men on the D line.
No.
I don't care
Jason's
what.
Like, I will go with 6 offensive linemen.
Can we play with just 4 wide receivers?
Play fullback.
We're cutting everybody. God damn it. Fred, I'm sorry,
Jason
gone.
Poe. Getting to Jason Poe, I mean,
he looked good.
Yeah, like I pray that we can get him on the practice squad, because I would love to get him on the practice squad where you can give him a little bit more development, and then you could bring him on later in the year, or for a playoff game so you don't run those Trent Williams packages that we've been begging for, because he looked amazing pulling.
Oh, pulling.
I mean, he took out that D-Ed. He took that D-Ed. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I said, I'm okay with him having a roster spot. If you want to call him a tight end, H-back, whatever the hell you want to call him to get him on the roster.
Yeah, just call him a player. I don't give a damn where he's on the roster. Just put him there.
I don't really care. If we can get that to, having that playoff game when we're going to need to run the ball and be more physical, if we had a player like that, I think we might win the NFC Championship game, because Trent Williams wouldn't have been asked to do those things, and we would have still been able to have it. Well, no, I still want Trent to do those, but I mean, it was clear he had no business playing last year. It was just clearly this is the NFC Championship game. I'm not missing it.
Yeah.
But he came out and he said no. He's like, in hindsight, Colton on 2 legs would have probably been better than me on 1.
Which says a lot, because Colton is not good.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I mean, Trent Williams just wasn't going to miss that game, because,
there's not many guys in the NFL that would. Like I said, you're going to have to drag those guys off the field at that point. But yeah,
knowing a veteran, and Trent Williams having gone through what he gone through in his career, realizing that tomorrow isn't necessarily promised, let alone next fucking season, and we've came out and we've said, love him to death, glad the Niners traded, did not think that it was possible to upgrade from Joe Staley, but it's happened. But Trent ain't a spring chicken. He's only got a few more cracks at the omelet.
Yep.
And so, and that's my positive thing, and why I've ultimately changed my outlook, is that I'm like, I don't think Trent Williams would have signed here if because they obviously had to talk to Trent about what the plan was. They had to before he resigned as a free agent. They had to tell him, and the trade was made. The trade was made before free agency. I mean, they had to have those talks when they first started having those talks of, hey, look, we couldn't get Matthew Stafford, which I think was pretty clear that we would have probably gone out. It was either going to be Matthew Stafford or Deshaun Watson. Obviously, those two went bust. And so it was, hey, we're going to draft a quarterback. Da, 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 da.
Can you
So,
last another 4 or 5 seasons, and we'll just pay you top tier money?
yeah, exactly. So, just making sure we went over everything. Let's see, got Drake Jackson, TDP, Trey Sermon, special teams. I'm excited about our special teams. I think that
Yes.
the issue.
Jason Poe is a gunner.
Jason Poe has a cut, or man,
That's how he
whatever
makes the
it's gonna
team,
take.
man.
He's just gutter, just annihilates everybody.
Dude, can you
That's-
imagine just him running down kickoff or
I'd
something?
love it. I'd love it. But
No, they do look good.
I promised last year after the game in Green Bay that I would never disrespect special teams ever again. Okay, I promised. After what happened in Green Bay last year, I will never disrespect special teams. And especially when we realized special teams essentially got us swept by the Seahawks last year.
Yeah.
And so I'm confident saying I won't make any proclamations about we're not getting swept or we're going 6-0 in the division or whatever, but I'm pretty confident that special teams ain't going to cost us ball games this year.
Well, it better be better than what was it, 30th last year?
26.
26?
And I think it
If
will.
we're
Now,
top
I'm not saying it's going to
15,
be number one. Yep, that's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
mean
Can
it.
we get 15? Can we just get middle of the pack average? I think our defense is going to be great enough and that our offense is eventually going to get there that we could survive with the middle of the pack punt coverage, kickoff coverage, and
just don't
top
blow the game.
top tier kicking unit as far as field goals. You know, that's the only what I need to lead. I just need Robbie to be Robbie and special the rest of the special teams to be average, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and like I said, you said top 15. Hell, even top 20 would even fucking work, I think.
As long as I'm okay if Ray McLeod just simply catches the ball and takes away one first down, just 10 yards, I'm okay with that. Catch the ball, and at least not have it go behind you. Don't start us off in negative, at least. And I'm okay with that. Fine, if he returns a kick or a punt or whatever, of course I'll scream and I'll yell and it'll be excellent. But I'm actually looking forward to him. Now, okay, so we got that. Armstead already said them returning to practice. Rise and fall will do like that. Last thing, Sammy Gray beating out Juwan Jennings, and we've discussed it a little bit on the show. And obviously he'll get his play in the red zone. But Danny Gray has passed Juwan Jennings on the depth chart. Am I crazy?
I don't think you're crazy, but I still don't think it's quite there yet. Like, I want to see Jennings, like the whole thing with whether or not Trey Sermon keeps going.
Mm.
What's it going to look like when everybody's together with the ones in the regular season? I think it's close, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't quite think it's there yet.
And I mean, ultimately, they play different roles, so they're both going to get on the field. I would even think it might be matchup based. Like I won't be surprised if Danny Gray, if they feel that, hey, look, your speed, we're just not going to get the matchup that we need to use you this week. So we'd rather have a DB up this week because this team likes to go 4 wide. So we'd rather just have up the extra DB, than get the 1-2 plays that we would get from you. I can see that happening. But I also can see Danny Gray is going to have an impact on this football team. And I wasn't 100% confident on that when we drafted him. Like, okay, cool, we got another Marquise Goodwin. But
his trajectory is going to be a lot like Drake Jackson's.
Yeah. He's going to be a better football player than Marquise Goodwin.
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought. When we drafted him, I was like, great, we got another Marquise Goodwin. But he's a football. Marquise Goodwin was just a track star. He was just fast. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, that's why the greatest wide receiver, probably greatest football player to ever play, Jerry was not fast.
No, by standards for wide receivers, he wasn't.
No, he was not fast. But he's the greatest football player, has more touchdowns in NFL history than any other player that played. I think it's something like, I forget, like, just there's Jerry Rice stats out there that are mind blowing. But how Marquise Goodwin, who's an Olympic, track star, doesn't make a peep in the NFL. Well, that's why, is because football is not a track sport. Football is okay. You could be as fast as you want going straight, but you hardly ever go straight in football. Most of football is cutting
pretty good.
And that's what I was excited about, is I saw him run some different routes than a fade route or a go route, or I saw him run some routes, and that's what really made me excited about him. And he is a player that, as things unfold, injuries start to pop up and everything like that, like, even if he doesn't make a week impact week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, shit, even up to the bye week, look for Danny Gray at the end of the year. I think that's when he's probably going to make most of his impact is here at the end of the year.
Like I just said, like we had said with Drake Jackson, he may not be starting right now, but over the course of the season, he's probably going to play more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
If Jennings doesn't show up, or even if he's good and Danny Gray's just that much, that speed comes into it, maybe that's all it is. That speed just kills.
And I mean, develops more as a pass route runner, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Because we all know Kyle's notoriously hard on receivers. So
yeah.
Okay, so we'll do player that rose the most, player that fell the most, and then get a little bit into the dress rehearsal, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Jason, player to you that rose the most in your opinion?
Purdy.
Yeah, I think that we got to say
Brock. The quarterbacks in general both look pretty good. I think they were like 27 of 40. It's not too bad. I would take that in the regular season.
Yeah. I think that what we saw is at the right part of the schedule. If because let's be real, Trey Lance didn't even play a full football game. I don't even think he played a full drive in the NFL before he got hurt in the preseason. So we all have this hope and these dreams, and knock on wood and pray, and in the spirit of Bill, Joe, Ronnie, and Jerry. But there's no guarantee nothing that tells us Trey Lance is going to play 17 games this year. So for a game or two, the right opponent, I think that he could keep us on track.
Yeah,
both quarterbacks, or at least Nate Sudfeld. We'll see what, like you said, I want to see it. I want to see Brock Purdy against some ones. I want to see him go up against, Jalen Ramsey.
I think they had him taking snaps of the last few days too.
Yeah, fine. Awesome. He did, but I know yesterday's practice he only threw 3 passes the whole practice. So, I think it's clear that Nate Sudfeld is going to be the 2, but you just can't let Brock Purdy go because you can never have enough good quarterbacks. I mean, this should be known. We were at one point the Mecca quarterbacks when we had Joe and the 2 Steves, Steve Young and Steve Bono. I mean, I remember Elvis Gerbach. I remember a game that Elvis Gerbach went into Texas Stadium and beat the Cry Girls. Yeah, so I mean,
he had a decent few seasons with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every player is going to be a Hall of Famer. You know what? I was listening to Haberman and Middlecoff, and you know who the Lions quarterback coach is? Mark Brunell.
Yep.
And I started thinking back at it and everything like that, and I was like, you know what? Mark Brunell wasn't a bad quarterback. Like, not every quarterback's a Hall of Famer. Not everybody, but I think he made something like 3 or 4 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, there was a few years with the Jags were good. Those first like 4 or 5 seasons and after
Yeah.
they first started, he was a top tier quarterback for a while.
When it was Mark Brunell and Fred Taylor.
Yep.
And so, I bet you there's a lot of people that would love to have Mark Brunell's career. Make a couple millions, definitely and definitely have that recognition that you might not recognize him in the mall, but if you're a football fan who grew up in the night or watched football in the 90s and early 2000s, and somebody he's doing an autograph signing or somebody walks up to you and says, "You know who that is? That's Mark Brunell." You're gonna definitely be like, "Oh shit," like you would definitely recognize him. Maybe
Hey,
not
look at our
kids
own
these
quarterback
days.
coach.
Yeah, Brian Greasy. Brian Greasy, which to me, you know what? I had somebody hit me up and ask me about this, and I wanted to run it through. And then we'll get into our player that fell and then the dress rehearsal and get out of here. But what about bringing JT O'Sullivan?
I want to bring back him and Alex Smith. JT, I love his breakdowns. I
I do
watched his
too.
breakdown. They're so. It's like the player. Obviously, he wasn't great,
No.
but you can tell that in his mind, he knows how to play the game. He just physically couldn't do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just he didn't have the physical talent. But
And generally
mentally, he was good.
and that's who makes the best position coaches, honestly.
Yeah,
People who understand the game, played the position and everything like that, just didn't have the skill. That's why you say a lot of times, I always used to wonder why the Niners didn't make Jerry a wide receiver coach. Right.
yeah. Why wasn't
And
Peyton going to be a coach or that kind of? They're
or something
too
like
good.
that. A, it's number one. It's let's be real. Jerry Rice made way too much money to be a coach. A and B, ultimately what happens, maybe not Jerry, because Jerry was a lot worth ethic and everything like that. But let's say Vernon Davis. Not everybody's that side and can run that fast, and move
Yeah.
like that. Patrick Willis, not everybody's that fast, that big, and can hit that hard. And so a lot of times what happens, Randy Moss, T.O. T.O. is a perfect example. Not everybody's 6'3", 230 pounds and can run a
440.
Yeah. That's just God. And so a lot of times when you find with people like that who are just freakish athletic ability, that they're not good coaches because they rely on things that, hey, coach, I just simply can't do that. But when you have the player that said, hey, you know what? No, I wasn't 6'4" and could jump, 30, 40 inches and all that. I had to rely on technique and worth ethic and studying film and things like that. A lot of times those make the best coaches because they understand the game most. Honestly, who I'd really love the Niners to see make like an assistant DB coach, Jason Verrett.
Yeah. Talk about your body just failing you.
Yeah, but clearly can play the position.
Yeah.
And is a student of the game and all that. But anyway, my biggest riser, I'm gonna say back party. Biggest player of the fall, Jason.
I think it's still easy. It's either going to be the tackles and Trey Sermon.
Yep, I'm gonna officially make it Trey Sermon, and I'm gonna say that whatever coaches will stick to whatever practice, whatever things are in practice and everything like that. But he's definitely the player I haven't seen. Him, and I'm also gonna give a number 2 to Juwan Jennings because I just don't. I mean, he might have not even. Let me see. He might have not even suited up because I'm not hearing anything from him.
Yeah, you just don't hear it. It's like I've heard he hasn't had a great camp.
Yeah,
but it's not being covered like it is with like Trey Sermon.
Let me see. Yeah, he was suited up. So I just didn't hear anything. He was active. So that's my biggest player to fall. Number 1, we'll get probably like 2 or 3 things. that we want to see from the dress rehearsal, Jason? 2 or 3 things.
I want to see all the ones, and I want to see the chemistry. How's that going to be moving forward with everybody, both offensive and especially on the offense? Um, and I guess it ties into that. Is Trey's interception issues growing pains because he's just not seeing it yet, or is he just playing against a defense that's just that damn good right now? You know, when he goes against a inferior defense, is he all of a sudden going to pop? And all of a sudden, you know, when you throw touchdowns, we're going to be moving everything. Because I think today he had another 3 interceptions. I think is what
Yeah,
I read. Today was another day where it was down, and he goes up and down, up and down. So you're seeing the flashes, and how much of that is just that he's playing against a defense right now that is just hitting on all cylinders, and they don't even have everybody playing. The other thing I want to see is just everybody get in, get that, and then get the hell out and rest up for
yeah,
17
yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah. Get it done. I fully agree with you with Trey. I like to think because from what I've heard and read and all that, he had his best practice, the first practice that Emmanuel Mosley and Travarius Ward were out. So I don't think that's a coincidence. But yeah, I'm definitely. Look, the Texans are going to trot out Travarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley and Jimmy Ward and Talanoa Hufunga on Thursday. They're not trotting those players out. So
Yeah.
definitely would like definitely and Nick Bosa, on the D line and Fred Warner. Yeah, so I like that. That's my number one takeaway. Number two, I want to see execution. I thought there were a couple false starts. There were some things that especially from the starters. I saw it that those 11 plays for the most part, saw it those 11 plays. I want to see it for Shanahan said at a half at the most. So I'm pretty sure they probably have a set number of plays. But for whatever it is, a half, 50, 20 plays,
I would
15
say it's
plays,
got probably
whatever
about
it
20 to
is,
25.
20 to 25 plays, whatever it is, I want to see us look like an offense that's prepared to play week one. Not fully midseason form, but an offense that looks like that a quarterback that looks like he has control of the offense. And, I don't expect to see us in midseason form, but, functionable, looking, getting if it's, let's say, 5 drives, I like to see a touchdown or two and a field goal. I'd like to see the offense put up 17 points.
A nice
You know,
sustained drive.
nice sustained drive. Maybe there's a turnover or something like that, which I would love to see. Just as a simple fact, like, okay, let's say it's drive 2 or drive 3, turnover in the red zone. Shanahan gets on his ass. Okay, how you come out, Trey? Because say whatever you want about Jimmy and his picks, the man was fucking had ice water in his
He
veins
was
after he
ice.
threw a pick.
He was almost as good as the DB getting burnt when it came to forgetting about that shit.
Yeah, so that's one thing that definitely I like to see is okay. You threw a pick, you cost us a drive, you cost us points. Um, how do you respond? Do you walk in there with that confidence and that swag and everything? That's definitely something I like to see. All right, Jason, final thoughts?
Um, Looking forward to this shit, I forgot it's a Thursday night game. Damn. So we
Yeah,
got
no.
one more day to get ready for. Yeah, and then we go through a little bit of a drought, and then damn it, we're almost here, man. We got what is that? I think I put up today. We have 17 more games or days before the season starts.
After Thursday, it'll be on the 17th day is week one. So pretty
Yeah,
much, I mean, once we get to Friday,
it's game
once
time.
we get to Saturday, I'll feel good because I'll probably work the day before. So I'll work and I'll be at work. It'll be like, okay, one more work shift. I'll get off of work and it'll be like, all right, I'm just kicking, relaxing, smoking, getting ready for tomorrow. We ready to take the division. I ultimately think we do. Make sure you tune in, Benjamin, to our show on the 30th, which will be next week. We will do or I'm sorry, the 6th. That's when we're gonna do our preview show, record prediction, all that type of good shit. Next week will obviously be final breakdowns of the first initial 53. So obviously, I mean, for what was it? It was last year. Like we announced the 53, and I think by the time we ended the show, it had already changed.
Yeah, it changed. Like 3 people had been dropped and moved, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't keep up with this.
It is official big deal because it's the initial 53, and it's even if you're only on it for a couple hours, you can tell, hey, mama, I made an NFL roster. So that's what I'm really excited about, because that's one of the things I get most excited about watching the draft is I'm not a hater. I like to see everybody's dreams come true. And so, that to me is the dopest part of watching people's dreams come true. So, all right, Jason, we'll catch you next week, bro.
Indeed. It's good seeing you guys. Can't wait till next week.
Awesome. All right, y'all. If I stop being retarded and hitting the shit. Okay, everybody. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. I really appreciate everybody. I'll be there. Thank you, Benjamin. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and I love everybody's comments and everybody's interaction with the show. Really do appreciate it. Before we let y'all go, of course, we got to remind you to shop at shop49ers.com using our affiliate link. Not only do you get official Niner stuff, but you do help out the show. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the podcast or video, and you save 10%. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio, all one word, to save on all theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show. And, of course, follow us on social media. Jason does a bang-up job. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. And lastly, sorry, y'all. My bad. Thank you for tuning in to the end of the show. As promised, this week's discount code for 10% off all for the faithful by the faithful Season 2 apparel is Season 2. 10% excludes any on-sale items and cannot be used with any other coupon code. Code expires midnight, August 30th. Thank y'all for tuning in. We shall see y'all next week. Same faithful time, same faithful channel. Till then, faith, love, and nappiness. Go Niners. Peace out. Peace out, Jason. Or Benjamin. Man, I'm all messed up today. All right, y'all.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
See ya.